5 disturbing signs of aliens and alien life. Hidden secrets, strange sightings, unexplained abductions. Whether you believe in life outside Earth or not, there are a few disturbing facts that leave us wondering. Number 5. Astronaut sightings and NASA's secrecy. One of the most controversial signs of alien life comes from our very own National Aeronautics and Space Administration. On multiple occasions, astronauts have told of strange UFOs and other inexplainable sightings. The first man to do this was Major Gordon Cooper. In May of 1963, he claimed to have seen a glowing green object heading towards him. He even told the tracking station as it was happening. They didn't believe him, but in fact, even the tracking radar picked it up. He was ready to tell more, but the system would not allow any questions. This wasn't his first sighting. 10 years earlier, he said he saw metallic flying discs, and as a direct quote from the astronaut, he also said, "I believe that these extraterrestrial vehicles and their crews are visiting this planet from other planets." Most astronauts were reluctant to discuss UFOs, and I did have occasion in 1951 to have 2 days of observation of many flights of them, of different sizes, flying in fighter formation, generally from the east to west over Europe. He went on to experience more occurrences as he got older. Not many believed him, but he is sure it was simply the fact that the authorities refused to let these instances be heard. The government will forever cover up what the world should know. Another man, Donald Slayton, had an experience too. "I was testing a P-51 fighter in Minneapolis when I spotted this object," he said. "I was at about 10,000 feet on a nice bright sunny afternoon. I thought the object was a kite. Then I realized that no kite is going to fly that high. As I got closer, it looked like a weather balloon, gray and about 3 feet in diameter. But as soon as I got behind the darn thing, it didn't look like a balloon anymore. It looked like a saucer, a disc. About the same time, I realized that it was suddenly going away from me. And there I was, running at about 300 miles per hour. I tracked it for a little way, and then all of a sudden the damn thing just took off. It pulled about a 45-degree climbing turn and accelerated and just flat disappeared." Occurrences like this happen more than we will ever know. A man named Joseph A. Walker claimed to have filmed several UFOs, but for some reason, they were never released to the public. James McDivitt spotted a UFO that had long arms, and he took pictures. Strangely, these pictures were also kept private, but this was not the choice of the astronaut. If these random names aren't doing anything for you, what about the most famous astronaut in history? Yes, Neil Armstrong himself claimed that aliens were out there. He was a firm believer and told select interviewers of his experiences. This exchange was heard between NASA and Apollo 11, Armstrong's flight. NASA: "What's there?" Mission Control calling Apollo 11. Apollo 11: "These babies are huge, sir, enormous. Oh my God, you wouldn't believe it. I'm telling you, there are other spacecraft out there, lined up on the far side of the crater edge. They're on the moon watching us." There are countless stories that astronauts have told, and perhaps many more that were forced to keep under wraps. Number 4. Hieroglyphics. We all believe in the markings that ancient Egyptians scribed thousands of years ago, but what many do not buy is that there are both signs of life beyond ours, and cover-ups hidden in these hieroglyphics. We have seen on multiple occasions where the Egyptians had created pictures on their tablets and walls that resembled helicopters. This one is from the Temple Seti I, or so they say. But how do they explain drawings of our modern-day UFO depiction? What about the classic alien baby form? These Egyptians had many strange beliefs, but perhaps aliens appeared before us thousands of years before we expected. Isn't it odd that the way that the Egyptians depicted aliens is the same way that we of the 21st century often do? Could it be that all these sightings by people have been a common alien race? Number 3. Large universe. How ignorant is it that we as humans believe that a world that is at the very least 46 billion light years from one end to the next contains only one small planet of life? There are billions of stars in our solar system, and there are hundreds of billions of galaxies, each with their own sets of stars. Ever wonder if perhaps there are planets out there that believe they are the only life form? They could be billions of light years away from Earth, and neither of us will ever meet. Or they are much more intelligent and open-minded than we are. Perhaps they have already ventured to Earth in search of alien life. Number 2. Men in Black. No, I'm not talking about Will Smith and Tommy Lee Jones, but it is believed that the Men in Black actually do exist. Could it be that the movie got its inspiration from a real organization? Of course, only two types of people would have had contact with them: people who have seen UFOs and those who research them. It has been said that they refer to each other by a number instead of name, and present a form of ID that says security on it to identify themselves. Many have reported that these men use intimidation to scare people into keeping quiet. But what reports do we actually have? Well, the first recorded evidence is a man, Harold Dahl, who was on his boat and saw 6 donut-like objects in the sky. Debris even fell and killed the man's dog and injured his son. He took pictures of the debris, but a man in black covered it up and told him to never speak of it again. Another occurrence happened in the 60s when Robert Richardson collided with a UFO in his car. The object vanished upon impact, but upon inspection, Harold found a piece of metal he believed to have belonged to the UFO. He gave the piece to the authorities, but a week later, 2 men in black showed up at his door and threatened his wife when he told them that he no longer had the piece of metal that they wanted. A rare photo was captured not long after this. Probably one of the most disturbing occurrences happened in 1976 to a Dr. Herbert Hopkins. He was simply researching UFOs. He received a phone call from a man who claimed to be from the New Jersey UFO organization. He asked if he was available to talk about his research. He agreed, but the strange thing was, seconds after this conversation, the man was at the doctor's doorstep. What is even more disturbing? The man's appearance. Dr. Hopkins said he had a nice black suit, was bald with no eyebrows or eyelashes, and had smooth, dead white plastic skin and ruby red lips. He did a disappearing coin trick before ordering him to destroy the research. The man was never seen again after that. This was caught on a security camera after one incident. There are many more occurrences such as these, even one experienced by the actor Dan Aykroyd. He has both seen UFOs and the Men in Black themselves. Number 1. Abductions. Of course, what better sign than that of alien abduction? There have been hundreds of claims, but only a few stick with us. One of the first recorded cases happened in Brazil when a 1950s farmer, Antonio Villas-Boas, claimed that an aircraft with bright lights landed on his farm. One night it took him, leaving evidence on its wake. The aliens told him he was brought to impregnate a very attractive young female. Afterward, Antonio experienced nausea, loss of appetite, and strange bruises. He told his story in great detail. What he described was so meticulous, even the most creative mind could hardly fabricate it. Another classic story is that of Barney and Betty Hill. They were driving home one day in 1961 when they happened upon bipedal humanoid creatures in a spacecraft. The two were supposedly abducted and had no memory of it. There was a 2-hour gap in their memory and their clothes were tattered. Afterward, Betty became a UFO hunter, bent on getting to the bottom of the mystery. Probably the case with the most witnesses happened to an Arizona logger when he was driving home with coworkers one night. They approached a diamond-shaped light, and soon after getting near it, Travis Walton was sucked up into the light. His friends fled in fear, but soon returned due to guilt and worry. Their feelings only grew when he was nowhere to be found. Luckily, he was found 5 days later at a gas station 30 miles away. He had no recollection of the last 5 days. If you believe in aliens, like this video, and don't forget to subscribe to the Top 5 Best.